with Ty the Dog Guy on the daily. I am on vacation right now, creating a couple podcasts and vlogs as I do that. If you're listening to just the podcast part, go over to the vlog part and go watch the video. This is just gorgeous. So this is where we're staying on vacation. We're at Lake Flathead Lake, however you call it, up in northern Montana, and it is stunning. So we're staying in a house right there, and so this is our dock. And anyways, I'm talking in quiet tones because it's early in the morning and there's deer over there in the orchard. I don't want to disturb them, and I've been seeing some birds come by dive bombing for some fish this morning, and I'm just trying to blend into the background. But this is the scene of a story that I want to tell you from yesterday. It kind of made me laugh. So this is the dock, and yesterday we were hanging out as a family in the house, and my wife said, hey, we're going to go down and go swimming off the dock. It was our first real day here, so no one had really felt the water. We didn't know if it was super cold, if it was warm, or if it was pleasurable, or what it was. But anyways, so I had to finish an email. I had to get changed, and I said, okay, I'll be down in about 5-10 minutes. So 5-10 minutes, I come walking down these steps. I come over here to the and let me back this up and say I also had a massive headache. So I had to finish an email, change into my swimsuit, and I had to take some aspirin. I had just a raging headache. So anyways, do that. I come down, and my kids, all four of them, and my wife's sitting here in the chair. My kids are sitting there with their towels on, and they're, you know, kind of huddled and shivering. And they're like, Dad, get in the water. It's amazing. It's so warm. Just jump in. Don't even think about it. Just jump in. And I'm like, what? And so they're like, yeah, you're going to love it. And I'm like, well, if it's so great, why aren't you guys in it? Oh, we just got out for a second. But yeah, just jump in. You're going to love the water. It's amazing. It's how warm it is. And I'm like, well, the sun's out. It's kind of shallow. Maybe the water is warm. But then they keep insisting over and over and over, you know, about how amazing the water is. And I'm like, something's fishy here. So I turn to my wife and I ask what's going on. And she holds up her camera and she shows me a video of the kids jumping in, all at once. They did 1, 2, 3, and they jumped in. Actually, I think it had to go to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And 3 out of the 4 jumped in. And the video cracked me up because they jumped in, and it was just like, they start screaming their heads off, and just, get me out of here. And anyways, that's about where the video went blank, because my wife turned it off so she could really quick pull the kids out of the water, because they were flipping out. Anyways, so my kids were trying to trick me, but I decided, even with all that, no, I'm going to jump in. This is crystal clear water. How often am I at a lake in Montana? How often am I going to take advantage of something this amazing? So, headache and all, I jumped right in. And the funny thing was, it was cold, at first. But as I swam around more, it started to become comfortable, and it was still chilly, but it was very refreshing. But what I noticed was, within about 2 minutes, my headache went away. 2 minutes, it was gone. I was swimming around. I was like, oh, this is amazing, and I was just feeling wonderful. And so, we swam around for about a half hour and then went back upstairs. Now, as I was walking back up to the cabin, my headache came back almost immediately. Once I was walking up to the cabin, and I recognized that I think what had happened was the water was so chilly, it was so refreshing, that the headache was probably still there, but I was allowed to kind of experience it in the peripheral. And this is what I call, in dog training, when we've got a problem with our dogs, let me rephrase that. When our dogs have a problem, maybe it's anxiety or aggression, or they've got a trigger or something like that, they are so much more better experiencing that problem in their peripheral. Meaning, if we just say to the dog, hey, here, head on, here's a problem. I know you don't know how to deal with it, but here's a problem, deal with it. Some dogs can flip a switch and they can deal with it. They can learn to adapt pretty quick. but the reality is most dogs are going to struggle with such a tall order. Most dogs are going to struggle dealing with the problem head on. But if they can deal with it in the peripheral, so just like me dealing with my problem in the peripheral, like, you know, my body was able to say, okay, forget about the headache for now, enjoy the water, do this, do this, do this. And it went away with, you know, the other sensory that was given to me, in this case, cool water. We can do the same thing for our dogs. When they're faced with a problem, we can help them deal with it in their peripheral. And so that change lies in focus. So focus is at the key, is at the root. It's a key of solving just about any problem, whether we're talking aggression, anxiety, you know, just being distracted, bad obedience, bad manners, stuff like that. Focus is at the key of all of that. If we can maintain focus, so if your dog is freaking out because there's another dog over there, but we can maintain focus on us, it allows the dog to experience the other dog from his peripheral. Hey, I don't have to worry about this. I'm paying attention to my owner. Or, you know, the flip side of that, like, you know, my dog is freaking out because he's so anxious. You know, he's not being aggressive. He's just over here anxious. Well, if I can get the focus on me, now the dog is experiencing that dog in the peripheral. Or my guest comes in and my dog wants to jump on him, but I insist on focus on me. Now the dog can experience my guest in the peripheral and doesn't have to flip out with excitement and emotion and all this stuff. And so helping dogs experience things in the peripheral allows them the proper dosage. You know, they can deal with that dosage. And then the more they do it, they can deal with a little bit more of that dog and a little bit more of that guest and a little bit more of that person or whatever. And so allowing them to deal with things in their peripheral acclimates them to the problems that they had, and either one of two things occurs. Number one, maybe they always, you know, kind of just say, hey, I'm going to deal with that in my peripheral. Or maybe as time goes on, they say, you know what, nothing bad ever happens. I think I'm good. You know, I think I'm going to be fine. And now they can deal with those triggers and those things a little bit easier. So, just like this water for me solved the headache, at least for a half hour, so too can focus solve your dog's headache and help them overcome those issues.